All right, so we're back. We've actually got lesson 7.1 still up. I deleted the start title that was in here. If you got finished title, that's fine too. If they're still in video track 2, what I want you to do is click on them and get them out of there, no problem. So we've actually worked with 2 titles that were created for you. Now we're going to go ahead and actually create our own title. We'll discuss some differences in text type and the difference. We've got a couple of questions here: checkerboard pattern and point text and area text, and we'll put some text on a path as well, which is kind of interesting. So in any case, here's how you make a new title. I've got lesson 7.1 up. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to New, and I'm just going to click New Title. It says, okay, what do you want to name this title? We are going to call this title Bike Title, which is appropriate, I guess. So I type in Bike Title, and I click OK. Immediately, the title editor comes up, and it says, okay, here we go. You want to create a title. We've got the video showing behind here, and there was one button I didn't show you in the previous section. It's right up here in the title bar. You've got the Show Background Video. If I click off on it, basically it takes away the background video. And you see this checkerboard pattern that shows up here. And keep in mind, whether you're in Photoshop or Premiere, the checkerboard pattern is transparency. So as I look at number 5 on your question set, what does the checkerboard pattern represent in the titler window? Let me go to the question set. Number 5, what is the checkerboard? There you go. The pattern represents transparency. Meaning the title will float over the video. The pattern represents transparency, meaning the title will float over the window, which means your video file is going to show up behind the actual title. So we'll go back to Premiere. So I've got transparent. Again, if you want to see, most of the time I've got this background video button on because you kind of want to see what the title looks like over the video. But for this particular lesson, we're going to keep it off, just so that you can see what you're going to accomplish. If you go over here to your tool panel, you got a couple of tools that are working on here. You've got just a regular type tool and then a vertical type tool. No biggie about the vertical type. In terms of Premiere, you should know what vertical type tool does already. If you wanted to print vertical type, you would use the tool. But I'm just on the regular type tool, and I'm going to click anywhere into the title. And I've got my text cursor in there, and I am going to type the words changing gears. So I type in changing, hit the space bar, gears. Oops. A-R-S. There we go. A little mistake up there too as well. So I've got this title, changing gears. I'm going to change the style. I'm going to make a little smaller letters. That looks good. Let's go to your second row down, first one in. It's called Adobe Guillermo White 90. And that looks pretty good. Actually, you know what? Let's make it smaller than that. Let's go with the Caslon Pro. There we go. That's what I want right there. Let's go with the Birch White 80. First row, third one in. Birch White 80. Looks good. I click off on it, and I want to grab the selection tool, which is the arrow, something we're familiar with, and click on the changing gears. And what you're going to see are these boxes, and we've messed around with these before. These are called handles. So there's nothing new here. And the only thing I wanted to show you is when I start moving on these handles, it actually changes the size of the text of your title. So if I drag on these corners, I can actually change the title. So let's say I wanted to make this as big as the title safe window allows me. So I drag the corners out, get it over to the title safe window, and my title is as big as it can be. It's a great way of doing it rather than trying to figure out what text size you want to use, which fills up your box. So dragging on the handles is pretty cool. There's also things you can do when you're dragging on the handle. I'm going to shrink it up again just because, let's say I want to move it into the middle. Now if you move it over the corner and then you pull it out just a little bit, and again, same idea as the edit transform in Photoshop, your selection tool will turn into a double-headed arrow, which allows you to rotate the text as well. So you can rotate that text any way you want, either clockwise or counterclockwise. You can, the other way you can do things too as well, and I know this is Premiere no different than any other program that gives you 20 different ways to do things. If you notice up here, your X and Y positions up here will allow you to change things, your width and height over here. So you could type in numbers if you really wanted to. But again, I like the idea of really visually looking at it and just dragging on this thing. And I can pull my video up just to see what it looks like. Very artistic. You can also do your rotations from up here too as well. So these tools are a duplication of what you can do over here. And just remember that. 15 different ways to do things. Okay, so we put in some text. We actually put in what is called, where is it right here? We are looking at point text. So we clicked in here and we changed point text right here. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I'm going to show you the area text. If I go back to this toolbox, I've got area type tool, vertical area type tool, but I want to click on the area type tool. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to go to the top left corner of the title safe window, and I'm going to drag a box across the title safe window. And I'm just going to start typing. Here is my microphone here, some text for this title of this movie. And what you'll see is the text wrapping, when you use the area text, will actually push it right to the ends of the title safe window. And again, that was locked in because I put in the text area box that's in there. If I just go ahead and I type, let me select that and get rid of that. I'm going to delete that. If I just click the text tool and I click in here and I start typing, look what happens to the text. There's no wrapping feature whatsoever, and it just keeps going. Okay? So this is, let me get rid of that question on your question set. This is an example of point type right here where it does not wrap. There's no text wrap available. But when you use the area type tool, let me go back to the question set. What is the difference between point text and area text? Area text allows the user to set boundaries for text wrapping within the title. So again, the idea is this: if you don't have much text to write, you probably want to use point text, which there's no tool for it. If you just click the text tool, you're in point text mode. If you want to fill the title with your text, I would use the area text tool. Drag a box, make it the right size, and then go ahead and type your text, and it will automatically word wrap to be able to do that. All right, cruising right along. Let's talk about doing text on a path. So we've got some ideas that are working real well within our title. We've got our brand new title here. We are going to select the path type tool, which is right here. You've got, again, all of these boxes. You've got your type tool and your vertical type tool on the right side. So anyway, we're going to grab a path type tool. And if you notice, the logo on the path type tool looks like a pen, which is very similar to creating paths in Photoshop. So Adobe uses the same tools to switch from one program to another. So we're going to go select on the tool. We're going to click and drag, and you'll start to see the path created. I'm going to click a point up here. Then I'm going to start dragging down here, and you're going to start to see your path created just by clicking these points and rounding them out. All right, so the minute we've got our curve in there, what we want to do is, let's see, we're going to keep our curve in there and then start typing text. So let me just say, here is, wow, my curve is a mess. Here is the title, which looks a little messy, but you can see how if you want to create some kind, well, it's a little messed up because my line was messed up. But if you get good at creating paths, you can actually create a nice path and put text on it. You can almost put it on a circle if you'd like. I'm going to get rid of that. We'll do it again. Click in there and delete that. So let's try to get a different path here. So I'm going to click the path tool. Create an anchor point. Let's go down in a looping pattern. Let's see, maybe that'll look a little bit better. It's still going to be messed up because of my curve. But, again, same idea. You start typing. Start typing. And you'll see the size of your letter and so on and so forth. If you change your font size and change your font, it might allow you to create a better path to use. So we've got another question over here. What tool is used to create a path for text? The path type tool. Simple as that, path type tool. Number 4, I'm going to go ahead, before I finish this video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about number 4. How do you save titles to use in other projects? Let's say you've got a title. Let me pull the video back up. You'll see how that works. Let's say you've got a title that you want to save. You really like the title, and you know that you'll use it more in other movies as well. I actually, believe it or not, I save most of my titles because they're a heck of a lot easier once you've got them in your projects panel. Here's your bike title. Once you get them here in the project panel, you can just pull them into other movies and just drag them into the timeline, and they automatically show up. So number 4 asks, how do you save titles to use in other projects? I'll go to File. I'll just show it to you. You go to Export, and you've got Export Title right there. And you just kind of identify where you want to put the title, and it's got its own file format and everything. So File, Export Title. Let me run over to the question set, and we'll put that in. File, Export, Title, and then decide where you want to save it. We'll stop right here for now. We're going to talk about real briefly about shapes, and then we're going to talk about ending credits, making text roll and crawl.